Over the years, I've seen many Rubik's Cubes sitting on coffee tables and bookshelves, unsolved perhaps since they were first taken out of the packaging. The Rubik's Cube made its international debut in 1980, and is today one of the most popular puzzle games. There are many different size variations that are now sold, and while I do own a few varieties, my favorite remains the original. To me, it is a pure puzzle. I first learned to solve the cube 5 years ago with what is called the layers method. This method was one of the first well-fleshed out solving methods, and is often the first one learned by a beginner. It is, however, quite inefficient, so I looked around and developed from other sources my own method that I use that relies heavily on intuition rather than using many more algorithms than I care to memorize. The method that I use is simplified from a method developed by Ryan Heiss. It only requires two algorithms to be memorized, and these are saved for the last two steps. Where this method differs from the layers method is that it requires intuitive understanding of the cube, but it allows for more flexibility in solving it. You're not required to repeatedly break up and fix parts of the cube that you've previously solved until the end, and even then, outside of performing one or two algorithms, it's only one or two easily reversible steps. My goal is to demonstrate this method to you, but first we must mess the cube up. For some of my friends, this is the most fun part, after I just get done solving it and they think they have done a huge victory. It takes as few as 20 moves from any one position to solve it, so you don't really need to do too much to sufficiently mess it up. The first step involves forming a T on a single face of the cube. I usually start with white, but this isn't for any reason in particular. This relies purely on intuition, and there's no real published steps or anything like that. You just need to use what you know about the cube to match these faces up. So we almost have our T. Just one more. Alright, now we have the T. Notice that all of the edge pieces here match up with the face. Something unique about a odd-numbered Rubik's Cube, a 3x3, 3x3, or a 5x5x5, is they all have one color for each face. This is the red face, this is the yellow face, this is the orange face. It's always going to be that way. So now, we need to solve these two corners right here and fill in this 2x3 block. The next step, after we have this 2x3 block, is expanded out to a 2x2 by 3. That just requires filling in these two edge pieces. Still not too difficult, and this is primarily because we have not solved very much of the cube yet. You can see it's already ready to go. At this point, I usually stick the part that's solved in my hand to protect it. Next, we're going to be solving either this or this. And that just depends on what is more convenient, given the position that the cube is already in, which I think I've already decided what I'm going to do. Okay. Alright, now you can see that we have our original 2x2x3 plus another block of 2. This leaves this entire face, which includes 5 edge pieces and 5 corners. Next, we're just going to solve all of the edge pieces. Because we have this one here that is not solved, we can use it without breaking up much of the rest of the cube to very quickly correct errors in the other parts of the cube. And with that, we now have all of the edge pieces solved. Now we have 5 corners left. Sometimes you'll have fewer than that, but most of the time it's going to be 5. At this point, we're going to use our first algorithm, and that's going to be twisting these corners around onto the spot that they go on. For instance, this one belongs right here, so I'm just going to rotate it around. This is called a 3-corner cycle. As you can see, that corner is solved. Now we're going to do this one. pretty much I'm looking for one that is already on the right face and I can just do a simple rotation. This one, it needs to be rotated around to the opposing corner. Okay, so now we have all the cubes solved except for these two corner pieces that are in the right spot, but they're in the wrong orientation. For this, we're going to use the last algorithm. It's called a corner twist. Now this one's kind of scary for new people because it messes up a large portion of the cube to twist the corner. However, since you have another corner to twist, you rotate it around into the position it was in the first time, and then undo what you did, which leaves you with a solved cube. And it just so happens I have this so well with muscle memory I don't even need to look at it. But here it is. Now we have a solved cube.